And let's head on back into the main theater and join Pitch Mackinac in progress.
So our business model is to create revenue by producing, processing, and reselling insect-based proteins, fertilizers, and non-food items. So our trajectory is to set up our pilot automated farm in August. And this will allow us to rehab a warehouse. This will also allow us to make grand innovations in food manufacturing for the state, as well as ag tech job skills training. By this, we can also start fulfilling our national customer interest and orders. So Time Magazine has ranked insects as the #3 food trend in 2015. And since 2008, companies and farms have doubled and tripled in years. So we can't do this alone, and so we're very grateful and thankful for our strategic partners, future and present, that have helped us get here. International support, legislators, policy people, manufacturers, so on and so forth. We are bringing a new industry to Michigan, and so we thank you very much for your support.
Okay, so I guess I am moderating. So we have 8 minutes for questions from the panel. Who would like to start? Patti, would you like to start?
I'd be happy to start. So tell me a little bit more about your customers. What's unique about them that makes your solution the right answer for them?
So our customers are falling into this low-HOS market, lifestyles of health and sustainability, which is the fastest growing trend market for food. They set precursors for years ahead. So Time also called crickets the new quinoa, really. So it starts with that. Our customers start with health and lifestyle, paleo people, gym rats, that type of thing.
If you've already said there are only 8 cricket farms, let's say you get really successful, can your suppliers keep up with your growth?
I'm sorry, can the suppliers keep up with the growth?
Yes, your growth. If you do well, if you win today, you're on your way to growth. Will you have enough supply?
Yeah, so then our model for the automated system is modular, so we can expand it to any real estate. And part of that is that we're going to be rehabbing real estate in the city and elsewhere, and they can be raised vertically, so it kind of gives us an advantage to increase the supply very easily.
To add to that, there's currently about 50 or so products on the US market, and they do not have enough supply. And so
They do not have
enough supply.
enough supply out of the 8 farms.
Yep, the 8 farms are not producing enough for the 50 or so products being made in the country. And this is just in America.
And that's including this delicious EXO coconut bar
Yep.
made with cricket flour.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yep.
I want to make sure that we say it correct. The company name is Ento?
Detroit Ento.
Detroit Ento. Okay. Paul?
Yeah, I was going to say I've tried it. It's terrific. Tell me about what the ultimate CapEx is. So you said it's modular, and what kind of CapEx are you looking at to create? You said there are 8 in existence today. What's the incremental farm going to cost?
So we have to, there's certain things that are confidential with the contract we're creating with this modular farm. But how we project with how this is going to work, depending on real estate, we'll definitely need a significant amount of expansion capital. But based on our original pilot, this model reduces our operational cost by 50%.
How so?
So in the utilities and consumables for actually raising the crickets, as well as the automation aspects of water, heat, and feeding, as well as breeding. We can predict a precise amount of egg laying, and so on and so forth.
Is this your product here?
This is a customer that has interest in our powder.
So this is not your product, though?
It was a little confusing.
Right.
It was a little confusing, EXO and then Ento. So
Yes.
Correct.
this is somebody they supply.
This is somebody else's product. Are you currently manufacturing?
We have our proof of concept, and now we just got a license from the state. That was holding us from sale.
Okay, so now you have the ability to be the provider to this company.
Yes, there's a lack of suppliers and more products like that than supply can handle.
And I'm done. Going to give the panel 1 second. Have you sourced this already from one of the 8 current farms, and now you're saying you want to build capacity because you want to now create your own farm?
We started the whole process ourselves, from our basement all the way into a small warehouse unit. So we breed and raise and process.
You raise these in your basement? Crickets?
Started.
That went over big with Mom. And,
Right.
Yeah. No longer in the basement. No.
My brother
longer.
wanted to have a worm farm in the
Yeah.
basement. We talked him out of that, but
I grew up in Hollis. We had a roach farm in our basement, no matter. I'm going to leave it up to you guys for right now.
Popular in China, yeah. Right.
it is popular in China. I've been there a few times, and they take this in stride. You can walk down, and there's little markets, and where we might get a hot dog or whatever, they've got bugs, lots of different bugs that they eat. You're sure that in America we're going to embrace that as heartily as has been embraced in other parts of the world?
So yeah, I mean, and there's already a market there. Our largest competitors tripled in size over the last 6 years. So it's, yeah, no doubt, absolutely.
Who are your competitors?
The larger ones right now are out of Canada, Texas. San Francisco is just starting up. And those are the larger ones.
How does their model differ from yours?
We'd be the first automated.
Okay, so that's
what-
the value prop.
If you're saying that the 8 can't keep up with the demand, why do you believe that they aren't easily just opening more factories?
Well, they are. They're all expanding right now. And so our other three other verticals are livestock feed and pharmaceutical. So we have some inroads with that, but regulatorily, livestock feed's about 5 to 10 years out. And so we knew that the human market was the one to go into first. And the products just keep coming out. And so we know that as we delve into things like extracts or supplements, we're going to have we still have to have a large supply of insects regardless of what channel they go to.
So your competitive advantage is the cost effectiveness of how you're going to raise the insects compared to the competitors that are in the market today.
That's one, as well as real estate and land use. So a lot of these people in San Francisco or Austin cannot find the square footage large enough, and they're building farms all across the country, shipping back to a processing in San Francisco, and then shipping back to the customer.
How do you plan to reach out to these new potential clients, to market yourself, so to speak?
Well, luckily, there was a Edible Insects Detroit conference last week, and we met all of our competitors and collaborators and customers there, and we threw a great dinner for them, so they're already excited about it.
With cricket powder?
Yep.
With whole insects as well, too. So, yeah.
The whole insect? So you're selling, because in China, I think you're talking about when they do the locusts and they do the full insect.
Right.
Are you also providing that as well?
That's a much smaller market, but yes, that's more on the culinary experimental end. The powder is mostly what the demand is for.
Patti, any questions?
So when you talk about the economics of your business model, walk that through one more time for me.
So we are developing an entire new supply chain in Detroit. And so from production, which is the rearing, processing, which includes dehydration and grinding, to the manufacturing of the product in a variety of kitchens, we can create this protein powder that then we get out to our end customers. Now that's just one revenue stream. There's a dry fertilizer called frass that we also have channels for that we'll be soliciting. As well, we're sending a lot of our product off to research partners, which we can't name, to look into this pharma type stuff.
When are you cash flow positive?
When do we cash flow positive? From between our pilot and our expansion, it looks like about 1.5 years.
Tell me about your gross margin. Based on the marketplace today and the price per pound of finished product, what kind of gross margin do you expect to be able to produce
And we have 1 minute
using
left.
your technology?
From our original, before this automated pilot, we were at 50%. Now it's, looking at all of the fine details, it'll be closer to 60 to 70%.
Why the cricket as opposed to all the other wonderful fish flies, for example, that I'd love to see somebody find a use for fish flies or even mosquitoes? Why the cricket?
Sure. It's their raising capacity right now. So also they're mostly acceptable in Western mindsets right now about food, more so than any other species.
What gives you the indication that soy and things of that nature are going to decrease over the next 30 years?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
You said the soy-based protein and things of that nature are decreasing. Where do you get that data from?
So that was a Lux research group, and they projected, and mostly it's the production method of soy. Right now we have to go into the rainforest, South America, furthermore, and essentially denude the landscape to create soy for feed for our livestock. So that's why our 3 verticals are going towards livestock as well. We're taking advantage of the human market because it's there, but soy is going to decrease just because of the production methods are so intensive right now and so resource intensive.
All right, well, time's up. Congratulations, guys.
Thank you.
Well done.
Detroit Ento. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. All right, I think I'm.
Oh, there's no tape.
You can do that one. You did so well, that. Oh, you can do that one. Do that one. I know what I'm good at. I know what I'm not.
Thanks, brother. So next we have Fathom from Grand Rapids. Matt and Danny, come out and join us. Good luck.
Hi, guys.
Hi, my name is Danny Vessels, and I'm a co-founder at Fathom, a company that's bringing underwater exploration and education to the masses with an easy-to-use, smartphone-integrated underwater drone. Now, I spent my summers growing up on a lake in northern Michigan, and up there, the cottagers have these artifacts, these relics that have washed up on the beaches from logging days that happened 150 years ago. But my lake's not the only lake in Michigan. It's not the only body of water in the world. There are mysteries covering our planet, and yet there's no way for anyone to explore or discover them. So we came up with Fathom, an underwater drone that anybody could use and take wherever they wanted, if we can go back a slide, so that we could give the experiences typically limited to scuba divers or professional cinematographers to the everyday individual. Now, there are some other options on the market, but they have a couple things in common. They either cost thousands of dollars or they take hundreds of hours to build on your own, and that's if you have a technical background. So Fathom had to be different. That had to be easy to use. So in this day and age, that meant using a smartphone app so that you could see what Fathom sees and control where Fathom goes, all from a dry location using your smart device. And this is our current prototype. It works like this. The drone connects via a tether to a topside buoy. Now, this tether is important for two main reasons. Primarily, that wireless communication through the water simply isn't possible. And secondly, God forbid anything goes wrong with the drone, you want to have a way to pull it back up to the surface so you don't lose your investment at the bottom of the ocean. Now, speaking of that investment, we knew that no matter how cool of a product we made, if we can go back a few slides, it wouldn't matter if it wasn't affordable. So we, after a year and a half of product development, the Fathom will retail at $600, making it the most affordable underwater drone on the market. We'll be launching it with our partners like Susan Eaton, Kinsey Beck, and even Fabien Cousteau. These are our professionals of ocean exploration and conservation. We also have partners, institutional partners like Aquarium of the Pacific, Shedd Aquarium, and the Department of State. These partnerships will help us grow as a business as we move forward. We've been featured in BBC News and Discovery News, and we've gained over 870 newsletter signups with a read rate of over 50%. This funnels directly into our Kickstarter campaign this summer, which will launch with a goal of $150,000. Now, this is a number that's been vetted not only by our engineering design firm in St. Joseph, Michigan, but also by our PR firm in Minneapolis. They've launched some of the most successful Kickstarter campaigns to date, and we're extremely excited to work with them as we move forward. Now, I'm sure as many of you know, the popularity of aerial drones has been growing at an incredible rate over the last few years. You've probably seen them in retailers like Target or Best Buy. And we believe Fathom can also move directly into retail. And that path starts with Second Chance sporting goods suppliers. Second Chance is a distributor in the UK whom we've signed a letter of intent with representing a $2.1 million deal. Now, they're also cool because they market to many different demographics. So we can move past just hobbyists, because Fathom is more than just a recreational toy. We can solve problems for boaters and scuba divers, sure, but we can also solve problems for police departments or even a local municipality looking to test the quality of their water or their infrastructure more frequently. Never before has the underwater experience been so accessible thanks to Fathom. We have an awesome team of advisors that have been helping our team grow over the past year and a half, and we're incredibly excited to bring the product to market in the next few months. So I'd encourage you to dive to new depths and explore things that no one's ever seen before. Because whatever you can fathom, you can do. My name is Danny Vessels, and this is Matt, and I'd love to take all your guys' questions. Thank you.
Awesome.
Great.
I don't know if you guys want to check it out.
Hey, Matt, where is John at?
John
Is
is
John the one operating the slides that were?
Yeah, no, I'm not used to this. We call
Okay.
it a Pavlovian advancer clicker
All right.
here. So.
Well, as always, ladies first. We're going to let Patti start
Great.
with questions.
So, do you have any licensing requirements for this kind of drone?
I mean, we've developed, this is all our own development. So There's not we're not licensing it.
Well, the licensing from the pilots and stuff like
Yes.
that. So currently there's none. There's actually not many. There's actually like 0 laws for underwater drones. They just don't exist much.
Do you see any coming?
I don't think so.
Who would be the regulated body? Do you know?
Personally, we don't see it as a team personally because of for air drones, like they can take down a plane. If a boat goes through this, it's going to take down the drone. It's going to be like a rock.
This is 3D, correct? This is 3D
Yes,
printed?
3D printed.
Yep.
Yep.
Is this a working model?
Yep, that is a.
This one.
This has gone down.
This is kind of
has
the road
come
model.
back.
It's been through the
Yeah.
ringer. But yeah, we have functional prototypes. Yep.
What's the distance of the tether?
Yeah. So great question. The tether is 150 feet, and that's to a topside buoy, and then you can be within 100 feet of that buoy to your wireless device. Okay. So 100 feet, and then 150 feet after that.
Manufacturing cost at the moment?
Yeah, so that goes into our 150,000 that we're looking at. The manufacturer in St. Joseph, Michigan, that includes the cost of the molds, and then they do a lot of startup production. And
But what will each unit?
Each unit. So each unit right now is $300. That's with just off-the-shelf parts. Like this one was $300, and then we can get it down to, we believe, $193.
You will get it down to how much?
193.
193. And are you gonna sell direct to consumer, or you want to go through traditional retail?
We're doing a little bit of both. So we'll have the online sales initially with the Kickstarter campaign, and then continuing those on, and then we'll be doing the retail sales as our focus in year 2.
What are you doing, if anything, to protect your intellectual property? Is part of this patentable?
Yeah, so a big thing about this is the modularity. That's, if we can advance a few slides, we don't have it up anymore, but all these thrusters come off. The side ones do too, but what that means is that we can expand into different verticals based on our clientele. So there's low power users like your everyday individual, but high power users like a police department. One more slide. They can use different attachments like a sonar detector module, or if you're a cinematographer, you can attach bigger lights. So what we can do is provide a base unit that anybody can afford and then expand that into more high-powered users.
But are those pieces, the accessories, are they readily available in the market? Because one of the biggest challenges with drones is something's always going, you fly it into something, and the accessory market is huge, but if you're the only ones making it, will they be able to get those parts again if it breaks?
Yeah, so we can sell both the drone and all the attachments. Kind of the same type of thing that GoPro does with their mounts. However, we've got stabilizer fins that are more equipped for larger camera loads, bigger lights for the cinematographer package.
I'm talking more about the propellers, more like,
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, we can sell those too as well. They're pretty common.
Matt and Danny, you had a pretty impressive group of people that you've been interacting with.
Yeah, thank you.
Well-known people, and some people with money. Have they liked this enough? Have they offered to invest?
I think we've gotten a lot of different offers. We are really looking to launch big with the Kickstarter campaign and really get it out to a
Not
big
give up
market.
a percentage of ownership to anyone else?
At least not right now. It's not. I don't think that's the most prudent approach. I don't think we think it's the most prudent approach right now because the money's not going to go to anything super important right now. We're still launching. So.
What prevents a in-market UAV producer, somebody who could very well be your competitor, to go to an underwater? What's your advantage?
Right. So what we've done a lot is simplify the design of this. So what we see with a lot of different competitors is that they're kind of transitioning, and they're still in this state of giant research vessels that no one really wants. And so what we've done is simplify this, and part of that in the modularity is making it small and portable. So this is by far the next biggest you'd see in size is about that big, and then they get massive. So what we're doing is kind of keyholing in on the portability and the accessibility of it that other manufacturers and companies haven't been able to do.
And to go off that too, we have the IP on the modularity of the system, which we think is probably the most valuable part of it anyways. Because if you can take these guys off and actually be able to use this as a base unit, no other drones will be able to really do that successfully.
Is it important for you to do a deal with a GoPro or someone like that, or not?
At the moment, I don't think so. I think we see a lot of the drone companies, they have I don't think, a formal deal with the GoPro or anything. They still use GoPro, like DJI. is known to be something. They have like a GoPro attachment and everything, and I don't believe they have a formal deal with them. So.
Right. So what this bottom rail does, is that you can attach very easily things like action cameras, like GoPros, so that this onboard camera acts more like a viewfinder for some people, and you just press record on your GoPro that's attached, and now you have 4K footage and the same frame as what you're seeing on your phone.
What's your turnaround time on production?
We're looking at 6 months right now. So.
And what is it?
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Excuse me, Patti. What keeps perhaps someone that develops an interest based on your business plan from knocking you off with greater financial resources, say?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it, to go back to the IP, I think is going to be huge for us. I think our partners and ambassadors, I think those are going to be huge. I think like Fabian Cousteau is going to be gigantic for us. He's like the big player in the space. So I think we've already surrounded ourselves with like Shed Aquarium and Aquarium Pacific. So I think having those big partners with us, I think is huge for us to like really grow that content out too. Because I think we're taking a little bit of a GoPro model too, of getting that content out there and really being a brand heavy company too.
Like, one of the biggest challenges in the drone market is the drone is the highest return product, out there. It's 50% returns. Husband buys it, brings it home, it knocks over a vase in the house. The wife kicks the husband out of the house, and she has to return it. I don't think you're going to experience the same thing because this is not operating then. But what do you do with all the returns at such an early stage?
Yeah, I think the returns, so the nice thing is that we have simplified everything. So, and the nice thing about that is that we think most of the issues are going to come from these propellers. So if we need to return them, they can just take the propellers off and then send the base unit back, which is pretty easy to do. And then we can either repair it really easily in-house with our manufacturer actually, and then or ship them a brand new one. So.
All right, we got time for one last question from the panel.
What kind of durability testing have you actually done on it?
So we're just starting that now. So right now we've just done the pool test and everything is run smoothly. So we'll be doing.
How many hours? Like what kind of testing hours have you put into this?
It's hard to say because this is, again, a 3D printed model, so it's not necessarily reflective of an injection molded part. We're getting molds made right now that'll be done in the next 5 days. So that's what we'll be taking out to California for promotional footage. And
How much money have you guys invested in this yourselves so far?
we've been doing it pretty much bootstrapping it. I mean, we've been using the resources of the school because I was an engineering student, so we could use a lot of those resources for free, and the labor of other engineering students to help us bring it to market.
Yeah. We've actually done all of this through $28,000. So that's all. We have one from an accelerator we did in Grand Rapids. We won 5x5 night, which is a local competition in Grand Rapids, and then we won another local competition in Grand Rapids for $3,000. So.
Good for you.
Great.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
All right, Matt and Danny from Fathom.
Thanks to both competitors. You guys have a tough job ahead of you. We are going to announce the winners after the defense panel a little bit later this morning. Housekeeping note, there is a smoothie bar in the art gallery for those of you who may want to grab a smoothie this morning. So this wraps this particular session. Guys, thank you very much. I think you need to take a picture with the people.
Taking my crowd selfie picture. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you.
What a pleasure.
Thank you, Patti.
Thanks, David.
Thank you.